You already know the deal. Back at it again, once again, with another YouTube video. What is going on, everybody? It's Curtis Spitfire. Now, today we have the first story time on my channel. So, this story I'm gonna tell is the story of like the crazy Washington D.C. trip. So, here we go. So, right around like I would say like elementary, like 5th grade, 4th grade type, we had like this Washington D.C. trip that was about like the end of the year, right around like summertime maybe, or at the end of the year. It was basically everybody would put in about $100 into an envelope and give it to like the teacher and whatnot, and they would pay for the trip, like rent out the coach buses and rent out the hotels as well. And literally we would just go to Washington DC, taking a coach bus all the way from Brooklyn, going to Washington DC. And we literally would stay in a hotel room for about like 3 nights, 3 days if you would say, with about, it would be like 4 total roommates, but I would have like 3 roommates if you want to say it that way. So a total of like 4 people in each room, and it would all be all males, and then it would be all girls in one room. You know what I mean? So all girls in one room, all boys in another room, and basically it was like next door. So you'd arrive there like early. We get there early, taking like the school bus in the back. In the old days though, back in the days, you used to take the school bus to school and not walk to school or take the train. But back in my Wyoming days, back in Brooklyn, I used to actually take the bus because I was so young. I was in elementary still, you know what I mean? So we took the school bus, and yeah, that's how we did it. So I ended up bringing all my luggage and all my stuff. I brought like a suitcase and then like a duffel bag in my backpack, and that was about it. It lasted me like 3 nights. That was cool. So I ended up taking the bus, and funny thing about that story though, I actually got there and everybody else just drove themselves, or they got a ride from like a taxi or something, because people didn't own cars in New York because they lived in the city. We didn't live upstate, we lived in the city. So we basically would either get a taxi, or you take the school bus, or get a friend to drive you who has a car, who lived in the city though. So I ended up actually taking the bus. I did not even see not one person that I knew that was going on that Washington DC trip actually on that school bus. I was like, bruh, ain't no way. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way. So I'm like, all right, I'm taking the school bus, and it's like nobody's on the school bus that I know that's going on this DC trip. And it's like, damn, I really took the school bus with my luggage and stuff, and nobody's on there. And then it's like finally arriving to school, you see the coach bus like right beside it, and I'm like, dang, bruh. It's like it can't even fit through like the little small space to actually drop off the other students who have regular school that day. Literally, it's like I'm on the school bus, but I gotta be on that coach bus. So I'm like, damn, what do? I'm like, hurry up, asking the bus driver to like, that's coach bus, telling the bus driver that's the coach bus I need to be on. And bro's like, all right, got you. And he's like pulling up, and he lets off the other students, and I get off the coach bus. So fortunately, I wasn't even the last one to be on the coach bus. Actually, it was about like another few other students that weren't there, and I think it was about 2 other people who had to just drive to DC or meet the coach bus somewhere and drop off their son or daughter basically. But I mean, that trip was pretty lit though. So I got on the coach bus, I put my suitcase and my stuff like in like the cargo area. Crazy story though, I actually literally put my DC on my Nintendo DS actually, and I actually was like, damn. So then I actually forgot my Nintendo DS, which was like the blue one, and it was like it was like Nintendo DS from like 2000 something or whatever. But basically it's like the DS Lite, and I basically forgot in the cargo bay area where they put all our luggage and stuff. And I'm like, dang, man. And it's like, literally, bro, I literally could have played my DS the whole time, but I was like, dang, I forgot it. And I was like, dang, I don't really want to like, go all the way down there, get somebody to help with that. I'm like, dang, bro, I really forgot my DS, because everybody just brought their backpack with like their iPad. This was like back in the iPad days too. So everybody would have their iPad, or they would have, literally some tablet that they would play on the whole time. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy. And I'm like, dang, I really forgot my DS though. I was like, bro, ain't no way, boy. So then I ended up having to sit next to like one of my classmates that I really didn't really talk to that much. And it was a guy, of course, but I didn't really talk to him that much. And we just, vibed a little bit or talked each time or whatever. It wasn't like some dude I was like crazy friends with or whatever. So anyway, we're on the trip, just going through. I think they had like on a, I think they had on a movie as well. They had on a movie. I think it was Johnson's Family Vacation, which is a pretty funny movie actually. I wish they put that on Netflix today, actually though. You know what I mean? So that was a fun movie we was watching. We was watching something, and we was watching like I think it was like another movie with Adam Sandler or something like that, or it was like Grown Ups, I believe. It could have been. But we ended up watching a movie all the way there. Some people actually fell asleep because it was so early in the morning. We got there. We got up like at like 8:30, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and I'm like, bruh. And I actually remember actually looking outside in the left window and actually seeing the crush I liked. She actually was like had like these erasers that actually were like custom erasers, and her name was Ashanti, and it was crazy, bro. I was like crazy. I was like, dang. I wonder if I can find her on Instagram today. If I find her on Instagram and she looks completely different, bro, I'm gonna be like, no way. But that's besides the point. But anyway, we ended up traveling all the way from Brooklyn, New York, all the way to Washington D.C. It wasn't a really bad trip, to be honest. We stopped at like a few rest stops and stuff, and it was cool. I mean, if you wanted to get like snacks and stuff. I really didn't want to use that porta potty in the back of the bus because like you had to get up and get all the way in the back, and that bus was like swinging from like left to right off of all them bumps on and drops on the highway. I was like, oh hell nah. So like I ended up just going at the rest stops and stuff. So we're going through, and it was like a crazy good vibe. I wish it was like a nighttime driving, but it was cool. We made it in like I think we made it in like a day. Honestly, I don't remember it being like a 2 night thing, but we made it in like a day. So yeah, because we really went really early, so we made it in a day. And I remember on like the trip, literally all the people in the back, because you know everybody just runs to the back of the bus to sit in the back of the bus. They love to sit in the back of the bus nowadays because of like long trips and whatnot, and the back is cooler than the front or whatever. And they were actually playing like actually smacking people with lotion who were falling asleep on the coach bus, and I was like, bruh, I was like, you're not smacking nobody with lotion, bro. I was like, I'm ready to square up, bro. You're not slapping me with no lotion. What it look like, bro? Ain't no way. You know, so they end up smacking about everybody with lotion on there, and I'm like, damn. And they got the person I was sitting next to. I was like, ain't no way, bruh. Ain't no way. His name is Marcus, I think. No cap. No lie. But I ended up smacking everybody with lotion, and I'm like, no way, bro. You're not smacking me with no lotion. You're not getting me. I think they got me like one time, but I just like, you know, I was like, damn. They barely got me though. So right around the like about I'd say about like an hour left or whatever, a few minutes left, we ended up making it to Washington D.C. We saw the White House, we saw like the Capitol building, we saw all that good stuff, you know what I mean? So then we ended up going to like a gift shop, and I actually ended up getting, I got sunglasses that had like the American flag on the side, and then I think I got like a t-shirt as well. But you know, with those gift shops, those fan shops, the quality of those items aren't good. Like the t-shirts, if you just wear them a lot and wash them a lot, it literally would like fade in quality. So I ended up just getting like sunglasses, and I think it was like one of my friends. I think his name was Emmanuel. Yeah, I think it was Emmanuel though. He ended up, he was with his dad actually. His dad actually came on the trip with him because this was like you could actually bring your parent if your parent wanted to come, and like he ended up bringing his dad, and I was like, yo, that's gonna like be trash because I think his dad had to stay in the room with him though, or maybe not, because like literally it would be like adults sleeping together in one room and then students. But he was chaperoning that whole trip, and he was with his son, and it was like a stepdad type deal because his dad was like mad like strict or whatever, you know what I mean? So but his dad was there buying whatever he wanted. There was like this fake gemstone, this fake like diamond purple like like blood diamond type thing, but it was fake, of course. It was like a fake diamond basically, but it was colored, and some people were getting that because they had like a crush on the girl. I remember my friend Tyreek actually getting that for one of the girls he liked, and I was like, bro, that's like a waste of money. That thing was like $28. I'm like, ain't no way, boy, ain't no way. I was like, do not get that, bro, because that thing is like $28. What are you doing? So I'm like, all right, I got my t-shirt and stuff, and we left. And I remember it was like something on the news with Joe Biden in the coach bus, or like actually on the coach bus, there's like some news, live news I was playing, and it was like talking about Joe Biden at the time, and Obama as well too. So that was interesting. And after we were done, like at the gift shop. We got back on the coach bus, and then we left and we went back onto the coach bus, and then we went to see like the cab. We went to see like some monuments and everything, and everybody got to take some pictures in Washington D.C. so they could like hold them for memories and stuff, which was cool. And I was like, I bet finna get like a picture or two and save that for the memory book. You know what I mean? So then after we take those photos and stuff, see like most of what DC has to offer for like not even like the whole day, but for like just that afternoon time, we actually got to like, back on the coach bus, and this is when we're heading to the hotel rooms to check in and everything. So when we get there, it's like a lot of coach buses there as well, because it's like a lot of like other students there too. And we got there, we got our luggage off, and we checked into the buildings. And then they told us which room we were going to be in, who we got to be with. So you'd stand in like small groups of who you're going to be with. After that, we went up in the elevator, and the hotel room was pretty nice. It wasn't too crazy. They had like a jacuzzi in there, or like a little pool area that you could swim in. But like the teachers didn't want us to even swim. I was like, dang, man, I was trying to hop in the jacuzzi, see what that's about. The water was feeling nice probably, but the crazy thing was it was like an inside type thing. It wasn't even like outdoors. It was like inside type, and it was like so cool. I was like, man, the teachers didn't even let us swim though. That was crazy. That whole trip, they were kind of really strict on us though. They didn't like let us wander, nothing like that. They didn't want to get no kids lost. They do not play about that stuff. That is crazy. But it was crazy. I enjoyed it. It was fun. And we got into the hotel rooms. We got into our hotels. I had to sleep on the bottom. I had to sleep on the bottom bunk, and because like one of my Mexican friends, Manny, he actually claimed the top bed, so he got the top bunk, and it was just like 3 boys all in one room. You know what I mean? Total of 4. Including myself, but myself and then the other 3 dudes I was in there as well. We had like Manny. I think we had Manny, then we had like Matthew, and I think we had like Mello, you know what I mean? So his name was like Anthony. It was Anthony Mello. Yeah, so like basically, yeah, because I do not remember their name at all, bro. I was like, dang, it's crazy as hell. It's a story, old story though. So like, we ended up just being in that room, sharing that room and stuff like that. And then it's like we took different showers. The crazy thing was, bro, I could not understand how the hell that shower turned on, bro. I was like, how did you turn on the shower, bro? I was like, ain't no way. I had to like pull. I had to like turn on the water. I had to pull it. I was like, bro, I had to turn off the water, keep turning it back on. I was like, bro, how do you even turn the shower on? She was mad weird. I wasn't about to ask no dude how to turn on the shower, though. I figured it out, though. So I was like, all right, cool, straight. And then I just like showered and I dried off in the bathroom and then put on my clothes to go to sleep type beat. And then waking up, so like we just like chilled. I was putting on my DS before I fell asleep and whatnot. I do that sometimes just to fall asleep. And then I fell asleep and then woke up, and it's like every time that we woke up though, literally it would be like one of the superintendents, one of like the teachers coming in the room, because they all had keys and they all had access to every room, because each room had like a card that you would swipe and they would let you in. So then they would just swipe their card, enter into the room, and then start knocking on the doors, knocking on the walls, like pans, all that type of stuff, waking us up out of sleep. I'm like, bruh. I was like, nah. I remember getting up, brushing my teeth, showering, doing all that stuff, and like one of my other classmates was still in bed, sleeping. I was like, hey, no way. Because like when it was breakfast time, everybody had to be together for breakfast time. When we were going to sleep, everybody had to be in their rooms and going to sleep. They was not trying to lose no kids on that trip at all. So you couldn't even wander off, nothing like that. So the next day was like a day that we were all gonna explore and do some stuff and whatnot, and we all had to do it all together. So basically that was the overall goal of that day. So we all got up, we got downstairs to breakfast. The breakfast was pretty good. The hotel room was pretty it felt like it was like an unofficial hotel, but it was a good hotel too. There was just like a lot of students there as well. And it was like, damn, all the rival schools. It's kind of like when you see another school while you're on a school trip, you're ready to fight. It's crazy. Back in those days in elementary, it used to be crazy cool. No lie. But we ended up eating breakfast, and then we headed out back onto the coach bus to actually go do what we were going to do for that day. We ended up going to like a scientific museum, and actually in Washington D.C. and actually like looking at some scientific things, you know, like some architect, and actually looking at like some oceanography as well. So that was cool. And I remember seeing my crush there too, and I was like, dang, I'm really trying to make a move. I'm really trying to secure the bag, if you know what I mean. So then me and my friend Jacob, who actually had a crush on this girl named Jasmine, who actually had like 7 brothers. I don't even know what to even call that, bro. Cause like for real, her brothers was like, it made you feel like they was like D1 athletes. You know, it's always like common story of like those kids coming out of Alabama and they all like play wide receiver or on the football team in college. Literally, she had like 7 brothers, and it was her mom and it was her dad. They had like 7 kids all together. I was like, bruh. And this was like a Brooklyn, New York family. I'm like, ain't no way. But Jacob ended up being there with the girl Jasmine that he liked, and I was like, dude, it's like interracial dating, and it was like whatnot. You know, like that goes. So I'm like, all right, bet, that's cool. So then we ended up doing that. There was like gift shops and stuff we went to as well. But I'm like, gift shops always be super expensive. They be charging me like $20 for like 2 pencils. You always get those stupid gigantic pencils that are like hard to sharpen and you can barely write with. And I'm like, dude, I'm not really spending $20 on that. But anyway, a lot of people in there were getting like a bunch of gift shop stuff. And I'm like, dude, you're just wasting all your money. That's crazy. Because I walked in there like, I had like 200 on me, but I was not trying to break that 200. I swear I was not trying to break that 200. I was trying to just like spend like $50 at most, not 200 though, because this was back in the time when your parents gave you money and stuff for like school trips and stuff. Because I was like about 12. I was about 12, 14 at this time. I was like 12, 10. It might have been like about 8. You know what I mean? I was really young. So yeah, because this is back in elementary. So I was not trying to break 50. I was like holding on to that 200 for dear life, but I ended up spending like 50. I'm not gonna lie. So everybody was in the gift shop, and then they had like these like popsicles that had like fake bugs in them or like real bugs in them. It was like a popsicle with like a scorpion inside of it, and I'm like, dude, what is that? That thing looks so disgusting. I was like, let me see it. And he like actually, one of my friends actually cracked open a lollipop and saw a little bug, and I was like, that is disgusting. It was actually like a real bug, but it was like caramelized. I was like, bro, why are you eating a caramelized bug? That's just disgusting, bro. I'm like, I would never eat something like that, never a day in my life. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. And like I think I tried like a little bit of it, and it was nice. I actually liked it. It was all right. And they also had like some kettle corn. They had some popcorn there too. Yeah, so I was like, all right, it's cool. We ended up seeing some more stuff. We had like a tour guide as well, so he was like walking around showing us stuff, and then he showed us like one of the schools there as well. There was like, it was like very far from the hotel room, but he ended up showing us one of the schools there on campus. It was like Washington State or something, and it was actually pretty cool, and I liked it. And he actually got us into like one of like the campus buildings and stuff, and it was cool off that. And everybody, after we were done, after viewing all the stuff and looking at all the stuff, we actually went back into like one of the actual like statues near the museum, and we all just like gathered up there, and they did like a head count before we headed on the coach bus to make sure nobody was lost. But it was a good vibe. It was fun. We had like one of my friend's dads was there. He was talking to us, and we actually all just bonded well. You know, some of us who really didn't talk to some friends really talked to some friends on that trip though. Funny fact is, I think I remember Emmanuel actually crying on that trip because his dad was making the trip so bad off it, because like Emmanuel couldn't even act like his normal self because his dad was around. It was funny. It really was funny because his dad was there with him, like really next to him, like everywhere he went. It was like, bruh, it was just so funny. He's literally just trying to like vibe, and his dad was there the whole time making sure he was with him and stuff. I was like, bro, don't ever bring your parent to chaperone, bro. Oh hell no, you know what I mean? So we ended up getting on the coach bus. We ended up going back to the hotel room, to the hotel and the hotel rooms, and basically this was like around 6:30 p.m. So we ended up having dinner and whatnot, and there was like good food for dinner too. There was like steak, we had some fries, we had some potatoes, we had like some green beans, all that good stuff. We had some like special stuff too. We had some like chocolate cake, all that stuff. I remember Emmanuel loading up on his like actually loading up on a whole bunch of like cake, and like sugary stuff. I was like, bruh, ain't no way. I was like, bruh, you're not gonna be able to feel the left side of your body, bruh. I was like, no way, bruh, because I'm like, dude, it's like literally loading up on a whole bunch of cake, literally loading up on a whole bunch of like, I think it was cookies too. I was like, cake and cookies. I was like, bruh. I remember he had like his two front teeth poking out too, because like he had like chipmunk teeth. He had like chipmunk teeth. I was like, ain't no way. I was like, he was like chewing down them cookies, bro. I was like, no way. I was like, bro, if you ever just ate some of those cookies and hit the weights, bro, you'd be like a D3 athlete. No lie. I had like some steak and some potatoes and stuff. I was in my polo that same day too. I remember wearing my polo shirt. I had my Burberry hat. I was like, sheesh. I had the khakis on with the brown belt. Yeah, bro, I like literally had my round belt on, because I used to like take out my fits and just iron them. And I think I actually had like my polo shirts and like the little dry cleaner hanger, and I literally just hanged that up and just wore them shirts just like that. And I had like the polo shirt coming out, or I think I tucked it in though. But I was looking clean. I'm not gonna lie. With the polos, that was drip, pure drip. You know what I mean? So we ended up going back to the hotel rooms, and we was chilling, you know what I mean? Because once you finish with your food, you could literally just go up to your hotel room and just tell them that you're leaving to your hotel room or whatever, or go as a group. So around this time, it was like 8, around 7. I think we had to be in bed. We had to be asleep by like 9 p.m. But it was cool. We was cooling. I was like, we was chilling out. It was like 7. It was like 7:30. So we were chilling out. We had like we had like about 2 hours ago, about an hour or so. It was cool. And I remember my friend Manny actually saying that, like, I think it was like the seniors or like the sophomores, or even I think it was like the upperclassmen from our school literally went on the same trip, but they were like sophomores, they were like seniors in our opinion. It was like in this scenario they were like seniors, sophomores, you know. So they actually posted like one of the stories on like their Snapchat, and they actually show like a haban. That's like a Japanese restaurant where they cook in front of you and then they like toss the piece of chicken in your mouth. That type of restaurant, like a hibachi. And literally they went to that, and then they literally showed another snap where like they snuck out the hotel rooms. So my friend Emmanuel was like, yo, what if we try to sneak out the hotel room? And then he was trying it too. He was like, so like he actually tried it. So what happened is like we ended up waiting until it was like about like 9 p.m. So when we think that like most like, so which meant that most of like the adults would be sleeping and whatnot. But like Emmanuel did was not thinking straight. I was like, bro, you know damn well it takes them like till 11 p.m. to like fully fall asleep, bro. There's no way. And we was like, all right, he gonna see if he can sneak out and sneak back in. I was like, all right, bet, you know what I mean? So he ended up trying to sneak out, and we all was in bed, you know what I mean? And we was watching the door. He was like listening to the door, and we kept like running back from the door to our bed, to the bunk beds. And I was like, I bet. And I opened the door like a crack, and then we could see that every door had like tape and an X right over the door for every hotel room that every student was staying in. So they actually got tape. So when we all went to bed, like each night or whatever, they each just put tape like in an X right across the doors. So that way, if you try to sneak out, they'll know, because this tape will like stick to you and come off. So like, it was like you couldn't even sneak out, and it was so cool to see, because I'm like, dang, they really put tape on the door so you can't sneak out. That's crazy. And so every morning they would take it off before you wake up, and then that's how they would knock on your door, and then they would have like a roll of tape in their hand, ready to or when they're waking you up, they have a roll of tape in their hand, because they took off all the tape off the doors. And that's what they did every night. And that was like day 2, you know what I mean? That was like night 2 being there, and it was crazy. And then Emmanuel ended up getting caught actually by one of the actual like chaperones who was there, who was like one of the teachers, and he actually got caught because he like the light was on and everything, and he was like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, nothing. He's like, go back to bed. And I was like, oh shit. And everybody in our room, including me and my other 2 roommates, we were actually pretending to be asleep in case he like walked in. But he caught Emmanuel and he told him to go back to sleep. And then when he closed the door and walked away, we turned around, and then we just laughed. Right? We turned over in the bed and just laughed because that shit was funny. I was like, ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way. Because like the people who were upperclassmen from us, they actually snuck out, and they actually like went down the block, because that area of Washington was like, kind of like a dangerous area, but they snuck out and they actually went down the block. So it was like crazy. I was like, dang, I wish you could do that. And we tried to do that, and we literally couldn't, bro, because like they literally caught us. We tried to like sneak out the window, but that window was like so high off the ground, you would literally be crawling on bars and you probably like slip off, bro. So that was dangerous. We didn't try that. So we ended up just, vibing, going to sleep that night. It was cool. The next day was day three, the third night, and we actually ended up. That was the last day, so I ended up putting on my next shirt that I was gonna wear. I ended up folding like some of my old stuff, some of my old clothes and stuff, and I literally didn't even like. I literally didn't even like. Take out a lot of clothes and stuff. I actually was like, I'm cooling off here. You know what I mean? So I took out my last polo and I actually was like, I'm cool. And then I was like, that last day, I think we went to like some like Sky Zone type thing. We went to like some Sky Zone type thing and we just had a good time and stuff like that. So we woke up, the normal routine, have breakfast, and then, the teacher or the guidance counselor tells us what are we doing for the day. And then we get on the coach bus and they take us there. And we ended up going to like, first we ended up going to like the White House actually. We ended up going to like the White House in front. We actually took pictures with the White House in the background. Then we went to like another monument and we actually took a few pictures there. And then it was like the Capitol building. And then afterwards we went to like some Sky Zone type thing where we like jumped on some trampolines and had like a good time. There was like a lot of like students trying to do backflips and stuff, and like some of the teachers I see trying to do backflips. I was like, bruh, you're like 50. Why are you trying to do backflips? What are you doing? Oh, hell no. That dude was crazy, though. It was funny. It was like trying to do backflips, gonna break their back. And it's crazy how fast the time went back then, because it's like, dang, we started doing stuff during the day, and then boom, bam, boom. It's already like 6:30, and then we got to head back, and we all have to have dinner. And so we ended up going back. We ended up having dinner, which is cool. And that was the last night that we spent there. I packed up all my stuff, and pretty much it was cool. And I was like, it was a good trip. I enjoyed it. And then we ended up putting all our luggage in the cargo bay area. After that night, got woken up by the teacher again, banging on the door. And then we ended up putting all the stuff in the cargo area. And then we ended up going back to Brooklyn, going home, which was cool. I enjoyed it. It was fun though. It really was fun. And then I got home, and then it's like, I actually had to go home on my own though. It was crazy, because everybody was getting picked up by the parent. But it was a fun trip. I enjoyed it, It was cool. And then, yeah, but that was a crazy story time. The crazy Washington D.C. trip, literally almost getting caught by the teacher trying to sneak out the room, and then also trying to jump from like a 30-story high building. Oh man, trying to sneak out the window, trying to see what's up, trying to get into some other rooms with some other baddies, other girls that were there as well. So that was a crazy good story time. Got some more story times coming. So this will be crazy story time, Washington D.C. trips, crazy story time part 1, or story time part 1. Making another series on my channel just with the Tim Riggins and the Madden 20, my career. So thank you guys for tuning into this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace. Cardi Spitfire, and I'm out.